My name is Blake Ingelagi. I'm a firefighter up in the Denver metro area, and I've been career up there for about 3 years now.
Wonderful. So how did you become interested in this career?
So I became interested in firefighting because of the Waldo Canyon fire, and a firefighter saved my house. So just a part of me just wanted to repay that because someone helped my family, so I can help someone else's family do that. So for most fire departments, you need to be at least an EMT basic, which is a semester-long course at a local community college. Sometimes you can do it online as well. And then I was a volunteer before for 3 years as well, and they put me through a Firefighter 1 Academy so I could get my firefighter cert, my hazmat cert, which is the basics to become a firefighter in a career department. So you can put yourself through EMT basic class on your own at your local community college, or you can get hired by a volunteer and they can put you through EMT basic as well as Firefighter 1 Academy. Definitely being a team player helps because no matter what you do, you're never going to be alone. So if you're on the ambulance, you're always going to be with a partner. If you're on the fire engine, there'll be at least 2, 3, maybe even 4 other people on the engine with you. So just having a personality where you can get along with people, be able to be a team player, put yourself after someone else, especially your team, and definitely the people that you're serving in the community. That's a huge thing, being a team player and being good at communication, because you're living with these people a third of your life as well. So being able to communicate, treat everyone with respect. So as a firefighter, it all depends on where you're getting hired. If you're in the Denver metro area, you usually start around $60,000 a year, and then you can grow as far as you want. You can become a paramedic, you can become an engineer, a lieutenant, a captain, a battalion chief, an assistant chief, and then you can be the chief of the department. So you can honestly stay one career in one department. Or you can start as a volunteer somewhere, which is usually free, or they give you like a $200 stipend a month if you meet the amount of training hours per month and the shift time. So one of my volunteer departments in northern Colorado, I had a shift at least 36 hours a month to meet the monthly stipend, and then I had to attend one training a month, which was normally while I was on my 36-hour shift. So I'm on a 48-96 schedule, so it's 2 days on, 4 days off. That can always be extended if you have overtime. We can work up to 72 hours straight, which is 3 days. But my work environment, show up with pretty much in a fire station, is just like a house that has a kitchen. It's got multiple bedrooms, living area, and everything just like a normal house. There's at our stations we have 5 guys, 3 guys on the engine, 2 guys on the ambulance. So at shift change there's 10 guys there, so you get to see a whole bunch of different people. So it's not really a desk job by any means. We still have to do quite a bit of computer work, whether it's reports, EMS reports, fire reports. If we have to do training on the computer, especially during COVID, everything's on the computer and Zoom now. But then you always are getting interrupted with calls. So it depends on what station you're at. It depends on how busy. You can go 48 hours with 2 calls, or you can do 30 calls in 48 hours. Completely depends on where you are at in the city. You live at the station, you sleep at the station, you're stuck with that crew for 48 hours. So shift changes at 7 a.m. We usually try to get to the grocery store by 9 a.m. So we call it the banker. Someone banks at the grocery store, and then you just split it 5 ways, and then whatever the total cost is. So it's about $20 to $30 for 2 days of 5 meals, and it's usually pretty good because usually at least one person's a good cook. It's just not me. So yeah, so I like to get to the station around like 6:30 in the morning. Like I said, shift changes at 7. That way, in case they drop a late call for the off-going crew, if they drop a late call, they don't have to stay longer, because people normally have plans when they get off work, and it's just the nice thing to do. It's like, hey, I'm already here, I'll take this call, because it could be a 5-minute call or it could be a 4-hour call. You just don't know what you're gonna get. Show up at 7. We call it quarters, which is just a pass along, like, hey, this is what's going on with the station. We're putting in these work requests. Hey, everything's on the engine. We use this. Hey, we went on a structure fire and we're missing this strap because it got lost in the yard or inside the house that burned down or something like that. So then we do quarters, and then we have a little conference call with our battalion chief who's in charge of the 6 stations in our city, just giving us a plan of the set. So what training is available, what training we're doing, if people have to move for whatever reason, or if there's people on overtime coming in, just getting to know what's going on in the whole entire city is pretty much what that call is about. And then we go to the grocery store, we get groceries for 2 lunches, 2 dinners, and a breakfast. And then after that, we're pretty much just waiting for calls. We go out of service usually once or twice a set for training, which is we have a training center up north, which has multiple buildings that we can pull hoses in. We can set fires to them if we wanted to, just like little propane fires. We go outside and we just go have what we call them, just like little pretend homes, I guess you would call them, that are about to get demolished, and we can go in there and we can practice moving with a bunch of furniture through a house. It'll be like a foreclosed house that someone wants to scrape. So we'll be able to go in there and practice skills in the actual house, which is super cool. So it's pretty much just training and waiting for calls. So you never know when the calls are going to come, obviously, but when the tones drop, we have about 1.5 minutes to get out the doors, whether that's daytime or nighttime. So you're always on the ready for when you're at work. You have 2 minutes to respond when we have to put all of our bunker gear on for like a structure fire or a MVC, a motor vehicle collision.
That's really interesting.
So yeah, otherwise it's just hanging out, talking to each other, catching up, because you don't see each other for 4 days, so a lot happens in those 4 days. So it's just like hanging out with a bunch of your good friends pretty much, and hang out, eat together. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Wonderful.
So some of the benefits, you become really, really good at problem solving, because someone calls you when they have a problem. They don't call us when everything's fine. So they show up, hey, I have this difficulty breathing. Hey, my chest hurts. And then we're the problem solvers, and we have to go in there and figure out what's going on, or how can we help you? Hey, we have this really weird smell on our house, and we have these detectors, and we can go in there and we can solve the problem that they have. So that's one really good benefit. The camaraderie of being with your best friends for a couple of days and just building, it's like pretty much having a second family. You spend 1/3 of your life with them, with our schedules. So to build that camaraderie is just a huge benefit, because they're going to be your brothers for the rest of your life. The challenges, you definitely have those difficult calls. Everyone has difficult calls that they have to deal with. So that's a challenge, and with time, you just learn how to work through them. You have your brothers that you work with you, and then you also have your family on the outside of work that are super beneficial to work through those difficult calls. Waking up in the middle of the night multiple times, that's a huge challenge. Trying to figure out where you're at, where you're trying to go, and the people are still expecting you to be at the top of your game every time you show up, even if you just got woken up, or you've been up all night, because sometimes that just happens. So just trying to find that drive in you to, even if it's 3 a.m, you're going on someone who's drank a little bit too much, just trying to have that professionalism still, even if you're exhausted, can be a challenge sometimes. It's definitely compatible with family life. It's also challenging because you have a set schedule. You can always do trades, you can always do vacations with people. So a trade is just like, hey, I'll work this day for you if you work this day for me. So that's one great benefit that my fire department has. I don't know about other fire departments, is that we can do shift trades. That way, if there is a big family event, because we get at the beginning of the year, so coming up in January, I'll know every single day that I work for all of 2021. So even if it's on a Christmas, Thanksgiving, your birthday, your family's birthday, oh, there's a family vacation, it's just like, well, I have to work those days. So it is very beneficial because you do get those 4 days off, and you get that that ability to trade with everybody. But it can also be a challenge because sometimes you can't get those trades, or you can't get that vacation, and you miss your baby's first birthday, or you miss your kid's first soccer game, which happens quite a bit. And usually the guys are just sitting on their phones on FaceTime or something like that when those big events are going on, because it's not your typical Monday through Friday 8 to 5 job and you can plan around it. It's like, I will be gone for these 2 days. So even first days of school and all that. So it's challenging, but it's also amazing because you also get 4 days off, that guaranteed 4 days off. So if it's Monday through Thursday that you're off, you get all 4 days, 100% for your family. But when you're at work, it's your work life as well. So.
Gotcha.
My favorite aspect is that no day is the same. No call is going to be the same. And you're not sitting behind a desk. We're driving around. We're going to the grocery store. We've been doing a lot of drive-by birthday parties during this COVID time because all these people are stuck at their homes. So they've just been calling the fire stations like, hey, it's my little boy's second birthday. Can you drive by the station in your fire engine? So we're involved in the community, and that's just a super special aspect that I like. And you're just not stagnant in an office space or anything like that. Things are always changing. As a firefighter, you're also in the medical field. 90% of your calls are medical, and medicine is constantly changing. You get these new viruses that come up, and that changes our whole entire jobs. We have to wear all this special personal protective equipment now that we didn't have to do it at the beginning of the year. So it's always changing to what's going on in the world. So I can't say what's going to change, or something big is going to happen, just like COVID, and that's just going to change how we do things for now, and then maybe we'll go back to what they were before, but it all depends on what's happening in the world. There's always going to be different kinds of equipment coming out, new kinds of hose, new tactics to attack a house fire. Building construction is always changing, so you have to change your game plans for, oh, what if this hotel is on fire? Or if a house that just got built versus one that got built 100 years ago is going to burn completely different. So it's always changing. So it's just one of those jobs that every day is just going to be changing what you're doing. So in 20 years, my whole career will change every day what's going on, but there will be big changes every couple of years, just like every profession.
Career.
My advice, if someone wanted to become a firefighter, is to get involved with your local volunteer fire department. Like in Colorado Springs, that's difficult, but there's volunteer departments all around Colorado Springs, up in Monument, Falcon, up in the mountains. There's a bunch of volunteer departments, and just get involved and see if it is a career choice for you, because you only need a semester of college, which is your EMT, to get a job, I guess you would say. And sometimes even just a volunteer department will put on an EMT basic course. And so you don't even need to go to college for that. And then you can get involved in your community right away. So if you're interested, just go to your local volunteer department, ask if they're taking volunteers, and just get your foot in the door. And then from there, you decide what you want, because there's multiple different kinds of firefighting. There's wildland firefighting, which is another big one, which is obviously everybody knows what wildland firefighters are, but they go through a lot of the same schooling that we do as well.